Ahoy, legend. Welcome back again to another episode of CEO Reviews, where I take real problems off of Reddit, pull them apart, look at what we would do if we were brought in as a consultant or we're coaching that person who's asked the question and try to solve their problem so that way they can go back to work and keep kicking ass. So this one is titled Help. Need help with an oversharing manager who not only overshares too much in real life about her personal problems and etc., but also messages me outside of work.
Welcome to the hotel hell. Check-in time is now, check-out time is never.
I act obviously uncomfortable when she tells me these things, but I'm struggling with what to do, laugh out loud.
I am dead inside.
It's a pretty short one, but yeah, the problems mentioned are not really workplace appropriate. So that's what we'll deal with. These personal problems that we're talking about are really inappropriate. I don't think it would take too many people watching this video to go, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. But to be honest, this isn't the first time I've seen this in real life. It is not the best when people bring this stuff up at work. So we want to get away from that. This person's not the leader, they are the employee. So what would you do if you were in that role? One of the first things you can do is just not engage. Obviously it's your boss. So we say start with the kind of minimum level of resistance you can push back without creating an issue or making it really awkward on other fronts. So the first thing we'd often say is just don't engage in the conversation. If it's done via text, ignore it. If they bring it up, then that's an opportunity to go, hey, look, yeah, I did see those. I kind of wanted to talk to you about them. I'm sorry to hear that those things have happened to you. Yeah, I imagine it'd be really awful for anyone who's going through that, but I don't really feel comfortable talking about that. It's a workplace and I don't feel like that's a great conversation for us to have. And I'm sorry, I can't really participate in this conversation. Now, that might not happen. They might not go, hey, you didn't respond. They might just continue to give you those problems and continue to do that.
Sorry, I annoyed you with my friendship.
And so then we move to the next level, which is changing the subject right away. If they're clued in, eventually they'll go, oh, they must not want to talk about it. You know, it's a really common practice. You might even do that with your friends now, where you go, they're messaging me about nonsense. I'll just change the subject and we move on. It's a really good tactic. That's called redirection. And then if they really don't stop, then you will need to raise the formal issue with them and say, hey, look, I'm uncomfortable, just like we talked about. That still might not get it either. So we've gone through just ignore it to redirect through to tell them there's a problem. Now, if it feels really uncomfortable, this person's laughing about it. So I imagine they're probably okay. They just don't care for it. But if it was really bothering you, which is fine if it is, then we might look at what formal mechanisms you can use, whether there's an HR process or escalation to another leader. But that's really the last resort. Try and resolve it with the person directly before you escalate things through formal channels. But please use those if they're there and you need them. So yeah, really awkward thing that a boss would bring themselves into. But if you think of The Office with Steve Carell and others, I think it's a real good illustration of how sometimes leaders just want to be people or part of the team or connect with the team to a level that takes them to really inappropriate places. And sometimes they forget of their responsibility and what they should and shouldn't say in the workplace. So these are some tactics to just push away from that. Employees who don't listen.
This is the worst.
Does anyone have anyone they work with that simply won't listen to any instruction? Sounds a bit hopeless. I'm surprised by this one employee who refuses to listen to anything their managers tell them to do. I have seen once where a manager was talking to them and they pretend like they don't hear the manager and start having another conversation with another employee. Oh my God. This employee makes mistakes left and right and never owns up to them, and even saw them make an outright lie. I was just amazed at how some folks can be this way. If the manager asks for my feedback about them, which I see coming, what should I say?
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
There's a lot of nuance to this one. Obviously, the leader's not done a good job of managing this person. If they can say things to them and the person talks over them or ignores them, they clearly have no respect. The boundaries haven't been set. They haven't been reinforced or enforced when they needed to be. And it's led to a number of bad behaviors in the workplace. Now, this is what we always bang on about. And I'm really about this is that if you let shit like this go on in the organization, if you think you're a good leader and you behave like a good leader and you look after the high performers and everyone else, but you let this kind of shit go on where a poor performer can do these things, this person who's posted this could very well be one of your high performers who goes, this place sucks. Yeah, they talk about all this nice stuff with me and push me as a high performer, but look at this person over here. What the hell's going on? There's no accountability. No one does anything. Things never get better with them. We don't want that. You have to do something about this if someone's not following what you're saying.
You have to do it. You have to. Do you understand?
So one of the tactics the leaders can use is to get them to do things like playback. Another tactic is to go, hey, I need you to confirm what you've heard me say in writing. You know, there's a whole range of and a spectrum of things that can then, if it has to, be pushed into formal performance management. But this is for the person who's asking as a team member. And they're saying, if the manager asks for my feedback about them, which I see coming, what should I say? I think being really honest, if you've got a good working relationship and saying, I think you're a great leader, if they are, and I enjoy working here on the team, but I'm concerned that like this person isn't listening to you. And what else are they missing? And also it seems to have an impact on this department and our reputation here. Like I do think something needs to change about it. You know, obviously it's up to you, you're the leader, but if you're asking for my opinion, I think that needs to be managed because this is destructive. Like we can't have people behaving like this here. I don't imagine you would want that as the leader. So kind of pulling them into it a bit, that could be really powerful. But I would definitely say something if asked. That's the easiest way. Give them the facts. Like, here's what I've seen, here's what I've seen, here's what I've seen, here's what they did, here's what they did, here's what they did. The clear observations and then the behaviors linked to those and go, well, here's what I would expect to see if I was the leader. Then give those better alternatives. And that gives them an easy way to go talk to the person about that. But what a horrible thing to just allow someone to talk over the manager and the manager just does nothing about it. No bueno. Last one, affair between coworkers. Boss blames me after firing them. For as long as I've worked here, I've had a hunch these coworkers were dating. One is married. However, I never cared too much and minded my own business. Over time, I kept hearing about these secret meetups they would talk about in front of me. Oh my God. Not purposely in front of me, but right near my cubicle in earshot. I always say to people, let's just time out. I always say to people, open plan is open plan. The walls have ears. If you work in open plan, do not have conversations that are inappropriate, that are about someone, that are about things that haven't been shared. Don't do it. The freaking walls are open. There's no privacy. Don't say things that you want everyone to hear.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
And I'm not saying hide things, but if there's something that's confidential, if there's something you need to talk about that's a personal matter, don't have that conversation in a freaking open plan. All right, back in. A few weeks ago, my boss called me to her office and asked me what I thought of them.
Wish I could, but I can't. Well, can, but won't. Should, maybe, but short.
I was honest after some prodding. Again, thumbs up. Today morning, my boss confronted them and it was a scene. Oh no. They allegedly admitted to it, then quit. Now my boss blames me. What? Okay, all right. We have a meeting tomorrow morning. Do I go in hot and heavy or apologetic? I didn't realize she was going to confront them and play moral police. I feel a lot of emotions and I'm not sure how to deal with this. Wow. Quick summary. I think the person did the right thing by saying, look, I've kind of seen something weird is going on here. I don't know what it is. You know, it's up to you to check or investigate as much as policies require or whatever. You know, there's a lot of nuance to that, but if there's a policy around dating coworkers or whatever, that might have been the catalyst for it. Let's park that and say, yes, that conversation went well. Yes, the boss went and dealt with it. Then we're left with the boss confronted them and they made a scene. Where the heck did this happen? If this happened to open plan, I wouldn't be surprised, but ridiculous. Take them into a private room and deal with that. And I would bring someone else with me. You don't bring up sensitive personal relationship issues on your own to a couple in the workplace. Like you need HR support there because what if they go crazy? Or what if they come back and they go, you know, I'm going to sue this place. You embarrassed us. Like you need a record of what happened. So as a leader, don't put yourself in a weird situation like that. Always bring a second person to make sure you're covered from a legal perspective and that you have the support if things get a bit weird. My boss blames me. Do I go in hot and heavy or apologetic? How can the boss blame you? Now, I can see how they can blame you, but that's madness. What I'm seeing here is it looks like they're blaming them because the boss asked. This person said, yeah, I think something kind of weird is going on. Then when the boss mishandled it, it went really poorly and the people quit, and they probably didn't want them to quit, especially in the kind of talent war we're in at the moment across the globe for good people. And now they're upset. So they're misdirecting and projecting their anger and disappointment, possibly in themselves if they even see that, back onto this person who was just answering the question they were asked. So no, I would not go in and apologize outright. I would probably say, can you tell me why you're upset with me? You know, I asked you and you told me, so I went and acted on it. Okay, did you ask anyone else? Did you seek other sources of information? When you met with them, were you confrontational? Did you accuse them or did you ask a question? Like, there's clearly a lot that went really wrong in this scenario. I would not go in apologetic. I would probably ask more questions and be curious first. Then once I knew enough, I would respond with like, I'm sorry to hear that went really poorly. I can imagine that would have been difficult for you as the leader. I don't think I did anything wrong here. You asked me a question. I gave you the observations I had. Sorry that didn't go well, but maybe go talk to HR and see what they can do to help you. I definitely don't think this is something that I would wear as the employee if the manager went and blew that all up. I can see there, like I said, I feel a lot of emotions and I'm not sure how to deal with this. Of course, you were brave, you stood out for the thing you believed in and what you saw, and you answered the question, and then you were blamed for what went poorly. This is how we lose people in workplaces, like building cultures like this, where you do the right thing and you're punished. If you hadn't said something they found out, they probably would have blamed you too. So there's no real winning as a performing employee in this, and we don't want this going on.
Do you have a question, Kelly?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
If this is you, you're the leader. Don't blame the freaking employee. If it's not you and you're the employee, I really feel for you. And I'd suggest taking that approach that we highlighted. That's it for today's episode of CEO Reviews. If you'd like to find out more about us or check out more awesome videos we record each week, and check out our channel, please subscribe and like the video. It does help with engagement and getting the word out there to more leaders. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Keep kicking ass.